No problems over at the Portress, though. They are just flying. They stitched up the Dockers pretty comfortably in the last quarter, and their running power again came to the fore in the last quarter, Jason.
I think the scary thing about Port Adelaide is they now have such a strong belief
Look at this.
in their ability to run. Poor old Sandlands is the only bloke that has to chase three of them. He's got no hope as they waltz in, and they're three of their best runners that were running forward there. But that belief's so strong now. If they're anywhere near the contest at three-quarter time, they simply think.
They believe
they're going to win. And that's going to carry them across the line many times.
How does Ken Hinkley deal with the P word? Because it's not the F word anymore, Mike. It's now the P word.
Well, I don't think that'll worry Ken Hinkley. I think he's convinced these blokes that they're good. And their aspirations have risen by the week. I mean, the finals is what you set out to do. And I think they're clearly on track to do that. Then the aim would be top four. They won't deviate from that. That's what their pitch will be. But
don't tell me they're not as good a chance as anyone in the competition right now to win the flag this year.
But it's pointless talking about the flag now. We've got to see how they start September. Who plays who where. So it's just finishing top four and giving yourself the best barrier position to go on from there.
They've already played the other top teams.
Yeah.
You know, and they're
but North have beaten
North
have beaten three of the top four teams.
North have also dropped a couple of
shockers.
shockers
To play finals.
They've dropped a couple of shockers.
Yeah.
Whereas Port standards now, they have a level here and another level to go to, but they're going to win.
About that is that they would go into any game and they play Hawthorn next up, believing they can win it against any team in the competition.
And I think one of the players that we spoke about in glowing terms last year when he was put on the radar as a small forward playing up in the midfield, Chad Wingard. I think he struggled at various stages. He's been in and out of the game, but on the weekend, in the bigger game, he produced a stellar performance.
This guy has so much raw ability, and from what I'm told, Mike, I think Ken Hinkley rides him as hard as anyone there because he's capable of so much, but they need to get that blue-collar contribution from him on a weekly basis, as well as this sort of stuff.
Yeah. I spoke to Kenny Hinkley before the season started, and he was interested in the top 50 and who was where. And I said I only had two, Boak and Wingard. He said you'll have Wingard a lot higher next year.
Did you have Jack Homshin?
No, Jared.
You should keep
He's one of your new boys, isn't he?
I like Jack.
He adopts a lot of them, doesn't he?
I like Jack. He's on fire. I didn't know much about him until midway through last year, but they picked up a good one from the GWS. And if you have a look at his interceptions, he is a player that really, I think, Mike, has excelled, and he's certainly overshot what the expectations were.